Have you heard of the MAPPA Effect? Literally anything this studio touches freaking slaps in the best way. Also, every single opening and ending they create for their anime shows always tops the charts. Even if you're an anime newbie, you would have heard of MAPPA and know who they are. They're the ones behind the godly animation of Attack on Titan, Jujutsu Kaisen, Vinland Saga, and many more. Once MAPPA is involved in an anime project, it basically secures its popularity and global audience retention. The studio's ability to bring unique stories to life through high-quality animation has allowed them to dominate the industry, with no signs of slowing down. But they weren't always the top dogs in the industry. Let's go back in time. So, MAPPA is an animation studio based in Tokyo, Japan. It was started back in 2011 by Masao Maruyama, former co-founder of Madhouse, when he was 70 years old. Inspo for us common folk that it's never too late, you know? Maruyama co-founded the famous animation studio Madhouse, one of the best animation studios in Japan, as they were the ones who did classics like Hunter x Hunter and Death Note. Maruyama stayed there from the early 1970s until he decided to leave and create MAPPA. He had a great career at Madhouse, but the company got bigger, more business-focused, people started crumbling under the pressure, and we all know what Japan's crazy work culture is like. It just wasn't what he wanted. Maruyama wanted to work where he could be more creative. So he left and started his own studio, MAPPA. Maruyama is seen as one of Japan's most skilled producers. He's particularly good at finding gems in the industry, plus supporting talented directors and animators. Interestingly, MAPPA's success made it grow and ironically face similar problems as Madhouse did. But more on that later. His main motivation for creating MAPPA was pretty simple. He just really wanted to bring Sunao Katabuchi's movie, In This Corner of the World, to life. You see, back then, Madhouse was going through some production troubles, so Maruyama and Katabuchi teamed up and made MAPPA with the goal of making that movie. It turned out way trickier than they thought. The movie didn't actually come out until 5 years later. Meanwhile, MAPPA also started working on other projects. The first thing MAPPA finished was an anime based on Yuki Kodama's manga Kids on the Slope. This series is a coming-of-age anime and how the power of jazz transforms a group of young people's lives as they navigate the ups and downs of puberty, friendship, and personal challenges. It came out in 2012. Its remarkable realism helped set the tone for MAPPA's future. Next for MAPPA was Terror in Resonance. Like Kids on the Slope, it had a unique art style and a different genre. It's a psychological thriller about two geniuses who want to destroy Tokyo unless their puzzles are solved. These were the early days of MAPPA. Then, the studio started becoming a victim of its own success. Maruyama set up MAPPA in the first place to escape the corporate pressures and restrictions he had been experiencing at Madhouse before he left. MAPPA was a success, which attracted more productions and increased the workload. As time passed, the pressure built up, and Maruyama felt that he had ended up in the same situation he had left Madhouse to avoid. It was around 2016 when Maruyama decided to step down as the boss of the studio and handed off the studio to a fresh young talent, Manabu Otsuka. Here you go! He took over as the new CEO of MAPPA. Now, that's a bit ironic because MAPPA actually stands for Maruyama Animation Produce Project Association. The studio had been doing well up until 2016, but this was the year MAPPA had a breakthrough. Its biggest success yet, Yuri on Ice, was released. This anime was not just well-liked in Japan, but received international acclaim. People loved the show because it showed LGBTQ+ relationships and mental health in a good way. Yuri on Ice won many awards, sold well on DVDs, and helped to launch the studio's name. In 2016, In This Corner of the World was finally released after being delayed for 5 years. It was worth the wait and is considered one of the studio's best work. People loved the film because it showed war from a different perspective, the stories and emotions of regular people during that era. No Titans or Jujutsu sorcerers were involved in the war. From here on out, the hits just kept coming out. MAPPA started to make more popular and mainstream anime like Banana Fish, Dororo, Jujutsu Kaisen, which started putting their name on the internet's radar even more. In 2020, MAPPA got to make the final season of Attack on Titan. When they announced MAPPA would make the last part of Attack on Titan, the community got somewhat worried. The show was already wildly successful in their first 3 seasons with Wit Studio. I couldn't picture any other studio doing animation as well as those first 3 seasons, but then the final season came out and my mind was blown. I stand corrected. Next, MAPPA adapted Chainsaw Man. The series follows Denji, who becomes part human and part devil. The show is known for its action, gore, and generated so much buzz among the anime community, although fans seem divided in its reception. The Vinland Saga Season 2 and Hell's Paradise also came out after that. It seems MAPPA just has a great eye for picking up potential blockbusters. I personally love how MAPPA produces some of the most dark and violent series for a season, and then they come up with Dance Dance Danseur and Campfire Cooking in Another World, which makes you double-check in disbelief that these actually came from MAPPA. What? There are also rumors about MAPPA animating Season 3 of One Punch Man. I can't wait to see Saitama in MAPPA-style action. I just hope they don't sprout realistic hair on his shiny bald head. But overall, things are not so smooth inside the studio. MAPPA was initially started by Maruyama to encourage artists to work together on passion projects and have artistic freedom. But things have changed. Despite producing much-loved anime series and films, MAPPA has repeatedly come under fire for the working conditions that their staff have to work under. Long working hours, deadlines too tight, and expectations too high. Data shows 2.88 billion people globally are anime watchers. You'd think anime being as popular as it is right now, the heart and souls behind the production, the animators will be raking that cash in? Far from the truth. In 2021, Mushio, a freelance animator at MAPPA, told Anime News about his work experience at the studio. He said that working at MAPPA felt like working in a factory. Demands for drawing revisions kept pouring in until the sun rose again the next day. At the time, MAPPA was working on 4 major animation projects simultaneously. MAPPA also received criticism for the rates it pays artists. Otsuka has defended the company by pointing out that this is a general problem in the anime industry and not unique only to MAPPA. Well, he's right. There is a huge gap between the pay and the rising popularity of the industry. The average annual income of Japanese animators in their 20s is around 1.1 million yen. That's around $7,500 US. One of the reasons why Japanese animators experience the problem of cheap labor is because many animators are employed on a piecework system. This system allows them to get paid based on how many keyframes they can create. For example, for an anime that will be aired as a TV series, an animator can earn 200 yen. That's around a whopping $1.30 US for each individual image that makes up a keyframe. Whoa! Creating a lot of keyframes is not an easy feat, especially for an animator who is just starting their career. Making it as an animator is turning out to be a dream too difficult for newcomers. Harsh working conditions and pay that's not enough to cover daily expenses forced many people to give up. In fact, about 90% of Japanese animators decide to give up their job after 3 years. Jujutsu Kaisen also had problems while being made. The people who drew the animation had to split up the work, and because of that, the unique way each animator draws got lost. Attack on Titan was also extremely rushed because they didn't have much time but still had to deliver under the global fan base's huge expectations. Come on, Attack on Titan Season 4 was done in 6 to 8 months, and that's just absolutely nuts. To Otsuka and MAPPA's credit, the company has been working hard on improving the working environment for its teams, including opening a new 5,000 square foot studio in Tokyo. All I can say is that we as fans love MAPPA's work. Hopefully they won't end up as another madhouse in terms of work culture and will continue to present us anime with their god's touch. I will go mad if the work pressure makes Gojo look like Shinchen. Can you even imagine?